Hey guys, so I'm going to show you today how to do some decking. There's some old decking there in the background. I'm going to start ripping it out now. I'm then going to put in new decking. I'm going to use some really good paints, natural paints to finish it. Just to show you how to basically, redo your own decking or put in new decking, and you just get an idea how to do it. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm going to put a breeze block or concrete block or something under this corner here, the far right hand side corner. It's because I'm going to cut off this part of the decking entirely, and I want to make sure that the other part on the other side of the door doesn't actually sink. So I'm just going to make sure that I prop this up properly. Now don't worry if you haven't got any power tools, you can do this entire job actually with just hand tools as well, so. So as you can see, the roof is supported by some uprights there. These were rotten, as you can see here. They're completely gone. So what I'm doing is I've got another piece of wood here, an old bit of timber, and I'm supporting the roof with that at the moment, So I've run into a little problem, as you always do. These joists here, they're basically going right in underneath the house. Somebody nailed them onto the bottom of the actual house, and they're not resting, like the house isn't really resting on the joist. So what I'm doing is I'm actually sawing them off, the house is actually resting on these blocks here, So what we're going to need is some blocks. We're going to also need different types of tools. We're going to need a tape measure, hammer, spirit level for leveling, a handsaw. The only power tool we actually need is a hand drill. We're also going to use some wood stain, which is low impact. It's good for the environment. Well, it's not bad for the environment. We also have some boiled linseed oil. That's going to be the preservative. Now when it comes to, we have to also use these screws here, they're decking screws, they're galvanized. We have two different lengths. And when it comes to the wood we're going to use, we have three different types. We have 4x2s, that's inches now, and an inch is 2.5 centimeters. We have also got 4x3s, they're a bit thicker, they go around the side. They come in at 18-foot lengths. We also have these lats here. They're basically 7.5 centimeters wide by 2 centimeters. And the reason why I'm going for that is because the original lats were that size, and I want to kind of match it in as well. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the wood with the stain, and this is just really to make it a certain color. And then I will basically get this linseed oil and put that on top of the stain. It'll soak actually through the stain and will preserve all the wood. So I'm going to do that now to all the wood first, and then I'm going to cut the wood after. Now I have 20 blocks and I'm going to have 10 of them, and the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to keep 10 of them full length for the base, and then I'm going to have half blocks to go on top of the base, And the way to do it is you just hit all the way around the block, and eventually it'll just crack open. Now we have most of the wood oiled. I have more in the back there. You can see there where I've cut the actual decking away from the original decking, so I'm going to meet that up nicely flush now. So the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to get these 4x3s here, and I'm going to join some of them together. I'm going to show you how to do that, because obviously they're not long enough to go the full length of the actual veranda, Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this Mypex, the plastic. I'm going to level out the subsoil beneath it. If you're starting from fresh, say if you have a lawn or something, you must make sure that you get down to the subsoil and place your blocks on the subsoil, because otherwise you're going to get this thing called subsidence, which means that yeah, the whole thing will just sink, you know. So then the plan is to basically start putting the blocks down as a sort of foundation. So what I need to do here is go down 22.5, which is about right there from the top, because you have 2 centimeters for the timber and the blocks as well, and the actual joist is not exactly 4 inches, so it's always good to kind of remeasure all the wood as well. So I have it there pretty much. Now what I'm going to do is, in order to get a level, I'm going to go down quite a good bit. I'm going to take one of those beams and I'm going to maybe go down there somewhere and try and level it out there as well, and then I can get the actual level of the actual veranda, you know. And I just work my way around that way, you know, so that I get the proper level all the way around. Now as you can see, that's perfectly level, and that beam is resting on blocks over there, and now we can see actually there's a gap here in the block, so we need to add more soil, actually more subsoil under this side, just to make this block level, and we do the same all the way along. We're going to put another 1, 2, maybe 3 blocks there, you know, just leveling it out. Now what I want to do is I'm going to join these 2 pieces of wood, because obviously, like I said earlier, they're not long enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a 10 centimeter block out of here, halfway, and the same here. You can see the line going around. And then I can just join them with some screws as well. Now you can see it's taking shape. You can actually see the outline now of the actual veranda. We're going to add 2 more thick pieces of wood at the front here, and maybe 2 at the back. And the reason there's going to be 2, because I want to join them onto this, as I said earlier, onto this old part. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to have one going in quite far, all the way in, just to tie it nicely in, and then I'm going to have one half one coming out here, and that means then I can actually, just out here, you know, that means I can actually you know, put my battens right on top of it. So you can see I have the end bits in, and I'm going to now start putting in the joists in between. Now it's important to put in about 5 screws. You're putting in one there, and put them in at an angle going down, so that when there's weight on it, they don't go, you know. Now you can see I have all the joists in. The next step is just to actually add the lats, and then of course just to paint the whole thing again with linseed oil, boiled linseed oil. So you can see I have the first layer of actual lats on there. I'm working on the second layer now. You can see I have them spaced roughly the same amount, and I say roughly because I have to line them up with the ones at the far end there. So if you're starting from scratch, just make sure that you have them exactly the right distance apart. It just looks better, you know?